Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at a project that's trying to heal one of America's deepest historical wounds. Not with stone monuments, but with living trees. It's a story about how a community in Tennessee is trying to heal the land and maybe themselves along the path of the Trail of Tears. So the whole thing really kicks off with this incredibly powerful, almost poetic invitation. Your mother is calling. You should go see her. And of course, they're not just talking about appreciating nature. This is a deep call to reconnect with the earth as our mother, as a life-giving force. And that idea is absolutely central to everything we're about to see. Okay, so to really get what's being healed here, we have to rewind a little bit. We need to understand the history of the land itself, specifically a place called the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee. You see, for the people who lived here for thousands of years, the land wasn't something you could just own or sell. No, it was a living thing. It was home. The relationship was all about balance and respect, a kind of harmony that's just a world away from seeing land as just another resource to be used. But that harmony, well, it was completely shattered by colonial expansion, by conflict, and ultimately by a government policy that led to one of the most tragic chapters in American history. After the Indian Removal Act was passed, thousands upon thousands of indigenous people were forcibly driven from the lands their ancestors had lived on for generations. And what you're looking at here, this map, it shows the brutal journey they were forced to take. A journey that became known as the Trail of Tears, a path just marked by unbelievable suffering and death. And we really need to be clear about this. This was not a migration. As the quote says, it was a profound trauma. It was an act of violence that left this deep, deep wound, not just on the people, but on the American landscape itself. It created a split between people and their land that, you could argue, still echoes today. Okay, so let's fast forward to today and see how a new group is trying to address this historic sorrow. And they're not trying to erase it, but to actually transform it. So the folks at the very heart of this healing effort are the Grateful Life Family Foundation. They've essentially taken on the role of stewards for a piece of this historic land, and their mission is to bring back that ancient sense of harmony and connection that was so violently broken. And their home base is right here at Lake Waldensia in Tennessee. I mean, look at this place. It's this secluded sanctuary, a place totally dedicated to mindfulness, to healthy living, and to really actively taking care of the land. It's a place for healing, both people and the planet. And their main project, the big idea at the core of this mission, is something they call the Trail of Trees. And their approach is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly profound. It really comes down to 3 steps. First, you have to acknowledge the pain of the past. You can't ignore it. Second, you take direct positive action. In this case, planting native trees along that historic route. And third, through that simple act, they hope to transform these places of loss into living, breathing symbols of resilience. But this project is about so much more than just putting trees in the ground. I mean, the goal is to heal these deep cultural divides, to honor the wisdom of the people who were here first, and to really encourage a symbiotic relationship with the earth. Each little tree becomes a living monument, one that stands for both remembrance and unity. And this quote from the foundation, wow, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It really captures their entire philosophy. It's all about needing a history of destruction with an act of creation, literally planting seeds of hope right into the soil of a past tragedy. So the ultimate vision, the big dream here, is to nurture this land back to a state of peace and vibrant life. The goal is to turn a landscape that was marked by a trail of tears into a sanctuary that welcomes everyone and everything, a place of real, profound healing and peace. So this is a beautiful idea, right? But what does it actually look like day to day? How are they building a community to make all this happen? Well, they're building this movement from the ground up, literally. Every single Saturday, they host these plant and play events. People come to get their hands dirty in the garden, to play music, share some food, and just connect with the land and with each other. It's co-creation in its purest form, you know? And all this community building, all this groundwork, it all leads up to one massive annual event, the Trail of Trees Regenerative Earth Day Festival. It's a huge celebration of the mission, bringing everybody together to plant, to celebrate, and to push this amazing vision forward. Now check this out, because this part is really smart. The way they've structured their festival tickets is actually designed to build a long-term community. See how a 2-day pass also gets you an annual membership? It's a strategy that turns people who might just come for one weekend into ongoing members, people who are really invested in taking care of the land all year round.
And that's where we'll leave it. The story of the Trail of Trees isn't really just about one piece of land in Tennessee. It kind of makes you think, right? It asks a bigger question of all of us. How do we deal with the really difficult, painful parts of our own history? And this project suggests that maybe, sometimes, the best way to heal a deep wound isn't to cover it up, but to plant something new, something living and hopeful, right in the heart of it.